Welcome back, YouTube. This is Asteroids. This is part 22 of Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3. So, this is kind of a snafu of an episode. We're going to get to the last stage of the game, which is Poisonous Pipeline, which, at least in the main game, I mean, there's the World 8, which has the Lost World stages, but I may do a couple of those. But the thing about it is, we don't actually make progress in this episode, or the next episode, just because I wasn't able to complete this stage. So I tried for 16 minutes. I split this episode in half, so you'll get half of the attempt now, half of the attempt later of me trying to get out of this stage. But unfortunately, it was a lot to deal with, and I have plans for what I'm going to do for this project, because I would like to not leave this project open-ended. I know I kind of do that more often than I'd like to, but some of these games just become real monstrous, kind of like Prince of Persia and games like that that are just really a pain in the ass to try to do. So it's just kind of, I don't want this game to be like that. So here's what's going to happen. After part 23, I'm going to try an additional time to beat this stage, and if that doesn't work, then I do own a Game Genie and I own an action replay for the Super Nintendo, so I'm just going to have to put the invulnerability code on, supposing that works. Now, there's a couple of caveats about it that I'm curious about. For one thing, I don't want to delete my progress with this game, so I would really, I'll tell you, I would have to leave this project open-ended if I try the Game Genie and then, it deletes my save file, because I'm not doing this whole game over again. There were a lot of stages in this game that really pissed me off, even particularly like that lightning stage, so I'm not doing this again. If the Game Genie deletes my save file or something like that, one of those things happens where the save file gets deleted, I'm basically going to copy this save file and I'm going to put it across all 3 save files in the game, so at least I have some backup in case of something fishy happening. But if the Game Genie code works, I mean, I only have one more stage, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep the Game Genie on and then just fight the final boss and then give you that ending, so at least if something happens to the save file after I turn off the Super Nintendo, you've at least gotten the game beaten. So there's just 2 more stages, so I would beat this stage with the Game Genie code, and then I would just do the final boss, and I would try to beat the game without getting hit or just the normal way, but the Game Genie code would be on if it got too tough. And I just would say, well, if that happens, at least you've gotten the game beaten. So if the save file gets deleted, you at least see the game being completed. That's kind of the concept of what I'd like to do, but I just don't feel like consistently attempting to do this, because I just don't know how many times I'd have to play this damn stage. I mean, you could say, oh, just be a true gamer and just do it the rigorous way, but it's just this is a real kind of royal pain in the ass. I mean, these type games are just, I don't know, I just don't know if I have it's not so much I don't have the grit, but just the concept of just in true repetitive incessance to keep playing this game with that sort of manifesto until I get it done. I mean, I might have done that back in 20 years ago or something like that, but I just don't know how I feel about doing it now. It's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I just think the Game Genie way would be easier to kind of get done. I just fear that I just don't want the save file to get deleted and then just have to say, fuck this playthrough. I just am curious about it, but because the situation about it is I just don't quite feel as compelled to want to play this game another 50, 80 more times until I'm actually able to beat this damn stage. And I just look after it. I know it doesn't seem very optimistic that I would be able to complete it in the next time I try, but I'm just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I feel like this last little batch of having to do things is just kind of a nasty trick to kind of have this be the ins and outs of the game that relatively quickly, just that suddenly, because none of these other stages in this game were at least that horribly dogmas of just, they weren't that horribly of dogmas of just bad scenarios. No game in Donkey Kong Country 2 or 1 did this sort of thing. It's I know I was able to do this at one particular point, but it's just I don't know. I want to get this playthrough taken care of. I mean, for the most part, a session of just being able to have a couple pizzas, that type of stuff, get some KFC and relax a bit, mingle with some beers, watch this with your buddies, and just kind of zone out a bit, listen to Spotify, some of those type things. But I just look after it. It's just kind of, I don't know, this has just been a real kind of handful, more so than I thought, and it's like, damn, this game is not to play with. I mean, this is actually where I question how many people out of like 1,000 people can even beat this game, or even 5,000, that sort of concept. I mean, I wonder in the city that I live in how many people actually have the skill set to be able to beat this game, especially now that the game is almost 30 years old. It's a real question mark as far as saying, hey, can you actually beat Donkey Kong Country 3? And I just question that. It's like, hell, maybe 25 years ago or 20 years ago there were still people, but nowadays most people are more hip to like Call of Duty and Fortnite and those type games and The Last of Us and those type games as far as that kind of actively goes. But it's kind of like hell. I mean, I'm impressed with myself for this playthrough, and I like the fact that I was able to get to the penultimate stage in the damn game, but it is the fact that it's just really like a royal pain in the ass. This was not a very jovial concept to throw this stage in here. I think they should have had an option where you could switch if you want to try the challenging way that you could do it, but it's just kind of like, But so that's the concept. There's at least going to be one more episode of this particular playthrough of me trying to get past this stage, and then I'll do another gameplay segment of trying again just to see if I really can do it, and I'll just give it the whirl or something like that. I may even practice it for like 20 minutes or so just to see if I can try to shave off some of the fail attempts, but I just look after it like, I really question the concept about it. It's just like the Mega Man games. I mean, that's another series I just haven't had much luck with, is Mega Man X. Originally I was going to throw a playthrough of Mega Man X up on there, but until I got to the fact where the only boss I could beat was just Chill Penguin. I said, well, most folks think that Sting Chameleon is particularly easy, and the fact that I can't beat him. And I tried, I definitely tried. I was able to damage Sting Chameleon, but I wasn't able to beat him. He has like a particular tactic. I know with Mega Man enemies, they each have like a boss character that they have as like a weakness, but I couldn't beat the character that Sting Chameleon was weak against. I tried Storm Eagle, I tried like the water enemy, I just could not get past those stages. I'm just like, fuck it. I mean, really, Mega Man is just a tough series, so it's just kind of the concept. It's the same thing with this game, so I mean, this has happened before. I have the concept of at least wanting to see what I can do with this, but it's probably going to be more than likely Game Genie. I do own one. Hopefully that will not sabotage this game file, because I would like to have this be completed just for folks to kind of have. But this is just a nightmare of a stage. I mean, you can just tell by the way I'm doing it. If you can't tell, like, once again, I'll reiterate that the controls are reversed on this stage, so you have to be able to play this game backwards. So left goes right and right goes left, just for that sort of concept. And it's just like, yeah. So this happens to be the thing, but I'll see y'all in part 23. Subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching, and of course, have a wonderful night.